Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, one man is dead after a stabbing at a local motel. A Vietnam helicopter is moving to Patriot Park for display and legacy. And search teams recover the body of a young man after his vehicle floated away during a flood.
We have interesting weather. First of all, winter storm coming out of the Rockies and into the plains, and then a tropical storm out there in the Gulf, sort of falling apart. We'll have all the latest coming up in a moment.
And the Victoria East Titans look to finish the season strong versus the Smithson Valley Rangers at home tonight. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is on assignment. Victoria police are investigating a death at an area motel. It happened in the 3000 block of Houston Highway. A witness reports two men were having a dispute. One man was trying to get into the hotel room. Eventually he got in, and then motel workers heard screaming and saw a man with a stab wound holding his throat. Police caught up with the other man who was involved and are investigating to determine exactly what happened. We have an update to a death investigation we first reported on last month. Jackson County authorities arrested 39-year-old Jose Miguel Salazar in the death of his fiancée. She's identified as 24-year-old Jasmine Ramirez. It happened on U.S. Highway 59 near Edna. Authorities are not releasing details on exactly what happened. The couple was from Victoria. Salazar was booked into the Jackson County Jail on October 17th. A Victoria man faces a charge of deadly conduct, discharge of a firearm. Victoria police arrested 18-year-old Andres Cavazos Tuesday. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $52,500 bond. A Ganado man was sentenced to 40 years in prison after pleading guilty to theft and forgery charges. 40-year-old Blake Petrash was indicted after admitting to police that he had stolen $3.4 million from his employer in Ganado. The thefts began in 2016 and continued until August 2022. Petrash was sentenced to three 40-year sentences to run concurrently, one for theft of property and 2 counts of forgery. The Vietnam helicopter that we've heard about the past several months is now at Patriot Park. The Huey helicopter, acquired by Les Weaver, a local Vietnam veteran, came to Victoria in September. A group of veterans moved the helicopter to Patriot Park today to put it on display. The helicopter was first priced at $50,000. Weaver made an offer to buy the helicopter for $40,000. Chapter members express immense pride in the monument, emphasizing its importance in sharing their legacy with future generations and the community.
I thank God that I made it back, and my position over there was taking part of the Vietnam era has a lot of memories.
Huey the helicopter is now on display at Patriot Park, welcoming visitors to appreciate the contributions of local veterans. This brings us to our viewer poll for tonight. Have you visited the Vietnam helicopter? Yes, no, or plan to? We got a tight race right there between no at 51% and plan to at 42%. We thank you for voting and we want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest on 25 News now at 10. Parts of Sargent Beach in Matagorda County are closed due to beach erosion. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said the Sargent Beach boat ramp, mooring dock, and access road along the Gulf of Mexico are now indefinitely closed. The closures are due to safety concerns from significant erosion and compromised infrastructure caused by recent storms. You remember on July 8th, Hurricane Beryl made landfall at Matagorda and Sargent. The public is not authorized to enter the closed section of Sargent Beach, and the boat ramp is no longer accessible. Now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, which brings up the question, Mac, is there a hurricane headed to the crossroads now?
Well, we've been watching Rafael sort of meander around the Gulf. I'm going to say that it's not going to hit us. I will say we will have a tropical storm out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Now tonight we've got a winter storm coming out of the Rockies, already producing stormy weather right about there in that yellow spot. And then right about here at the Category 2 we have Rafael, but it should be falling apart somewhere in the Gulf. We'll be talking about that, giving you the full details in just a moment. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Near San Antonio, the body of a 22-year-old man was recovered by the sheriff's department. The man's car was swept away during heavy flooding Monday night.
Last night when the storm came through the county, we received a 911 call, and a young man was in the water. His vehicle was floating away.
Sheriff Brown says it was tough to listen to the 12-minute 911 call filled with panic.
We started yesterday evening and started back even with more people this morning, and we were able to locate the vehicle. It was probably 3.5 miles down that creek.
While the car was recovered, no one was in it, so they searched downstream, aided by search teams that included deputies, firefighters, emergency and service coordinators, game wardens, and a helicopter. Brown says the search was difficult because of the terrain, but they remain committed searching into Bandera County.
Not too long ago, was able to find the body of this young man, which was about a 5-mile trip.
Sheriff Brown says the 20-year-old man was not from the United States, so they are not releasing his identity until his parents are notified. Brown was able to speak with local family members.
It's really a tough thing. You know, you never have the words to say to people in times like that, but our hearts go out to the family.
Sheriff Brown says while it was not the outcome they hoped for, he hopes it will give the family some closure. After the election, the Texas House Speaker race remains up for grabs. The Texas Tribune reports neither Speaker Dade Phelan nor his current opponent, Representative David Cook, have enough public support yet from the GOP caucus to win the nomination. Today, Cook said Phelan does not have enough support from House Republicans to win. The House GOP caucus will meet in a month to endorse its nominee for Speaker. The Speaker presides over the processes in the House and appoints members to leadership positions. Veterans Day is around the corner as veterans of Victoria bring in the Vietnam Wall. Now, this wall is an 80% replica of the one that's in Washington, D.C. It will be displayed at the Field of Honor on John Stockbauer and Salem Road. The wall consists of names from the Korean War and World Wars I and II. Originally, the vets would meet up for a meal every year for Veterans Day, but this time they decided things should be different this year.
It means a lot to us to be able to honor the Vietnam veterans. That's what this is about. This is about the Vietnam veterans. And, you know, there were over 58,000 of them that lost their lives. Their names will be on this wall.
The wall will be taken out and put up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Cochin also invites the city of Victoria to come out and celebrate with them. Ever wonder what happens when a heart surgeon swaps the operating room for a classroom? Dr. Yahagi once led life-saving surgeries in Victoria. He's now traded his scalpel for science experiments at Ganado High School. Now he's inspiring the next generation of students, not just with lessons in science, but with life lessons that go way beyond the textbook. Find out how this award-winning teacher is leaving his mark in ways no one expected. Don't miss this 25 News Now Extra with anchor Shauna Curry tonight at 10. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, steady snow in Denver creates slick road conditions. Also ahead, rescue operations are underway in Cuba after Hurricane Rafael's impact. One North Carolina county is lending a financial hand to victims of Hurricane Helene. It's an $8.5 million buyout program for structures that are beyond repair.
Back in September, this neighborhood along the Catawba River was hit with a wall of water from Tropical Storm Helene. 46 homes were damaged to the point they cannot be repaired back to pre-flood condition.
It is a major loss to the community to see that many homes.
Gidget Dennehy has lived in the area for 15 years. Her home wasn't a total loss, but she's relieved to know her neighbors who lost everything will receive help.
We're hoping this helps the homeowners moving forward.
Dennehy is referring to the county commissioner's vote Wednesday night to buy out homes that were submerged during Helene. It's known as the Quick Buy program, which was implemented after 4 major flooding events. The concept is to voluntarily acquire flood-prone homes before substantial repairs start. Now 40 to 50 homes could be considered for a voluntary buyout or retrofit grant as a part of the repair process. Dennehy says she's thinking about the difficult decision her neighbors will have to make.
Many of them have lived on the river along this part for years now, and I hate to leave. So it's going to be hard to make this decision. It's leaving a community that they've raised their children in.
Officials are looking at a number of things before presenting a buyout offer, including which homes did or did not have flood insurance and the extent of the damages. Here are some of the top headlines in the Victoria Advocate. Danny Garcia won re-election to the Victoria County Commissioner's Court. Many area voters are relieved with Election Day results. And Keep Victoria Beautiful receives $35,000 to aid its recycling effort. You can read these stories and more at victoriaadvocate.com or pick up a copy at a store near you. Steady snow is creating slick driving conditions in the Denver area, and there's more snow on the way there. A low pressure system is slowly tracking to the north and east, resulting in steady snow across much of eastern Colorado. Winter weather advisories and a winter storm warning were issued through this evening. Difficult to impossible travel is expected through Saturday morning across southern Colorado. Up to 36 inches of snow is possible. Rescue and recovery operations have started in Cuba after Hurricane Rafael impacted the western provinces. The eye of the hurricane, which made landfall on Cuba's southwestern coast on Wednesday, drifted northwards in the Gulf of Mexico and left the island. The Category 3 hurricane led to a total blackout across the island on Wednesday. Intense flooding was reported in most of the western provinces as well as in Cuba's capital, Havana, but there are no confirmed reports of deaths at this moment.
We'll have the latest on the coordinates of the storm coming up in a moment. Right about now, we're looking at 73, fairly nice. It was a little warm today. Yes, doesn't feel much like November. It's 91. We're supposed to be in the upper 70s, but there's a couple of fronts headed in our direction. First, we got to look at that winter storm, and then we'll take a look at the tropical storm. All that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. We've got all kinds of weather happening across the continental United States. First, we start with this big winter storm. It is a deep area of low pressure right over northern New Mexico, which is causing the lift and causing the storms. Now, out ahead of the front, you can see how this line of storms right about here is just beginning to get fairly heavy. This is going to be the severe thunderstorm area that's going to affect much of North Texas overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then, of course, we have Rafael, which is now churning through the Gulf of Mexico. Do I look worried? No, I don't look worried. Okay. First of all, the winds today were picking up, they're a little strong, bringing up that Gulf air. And of course, it all goes into this large area of low pressure. This is a big storm, and this is a great sign that they're getting off to a good snow season in the mountains. You know, remember, it's not just for playing. That is the water that goes into the Rio Grande and many of our rivers that flow all the way to the Gulf. So if we don't have any snowpack up there, our rivers are not going to have much fun. All right, so here is the heavy weather already beginning to break out ahead of the line. The stormy weather will generally move to the east, but the tail end of that front will actually roll through our area late tomorrow night. Now let's take a look at the storm, the tropical storm. Now watch this. Last week, or earlier this week, I said the storm would turn sharply and go to the right. Well, it's decided to do a little different. So it's going to be doing a little dance because it's going to run into this cold front. You see how the stormy weather is up north, tail end of it moving through our region. We're talking already early on Friday morning. And then by the time we get to Saturday, the front moves offshore and it keeps the storm out in the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, it's scheduled to fall apart there even after being a Category 2 storm tonight. So the front basically wins the argument, but we are certainly going to watch the remnants of it. But you can see how it gets sort of stalled out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's take a look at the temperatures for tomorrow. For us, we're still on the warm side of the front, remember? The front's right about here, and get a load of that. 60s up in North Texas. 40s in Amarillo as high temperatures tomorrow. Yeah, pull the jackets out if you're going to Amarillo. So again, we look at Rafael. Rafael is a significant storm right about now, 105 miles an hour. It is out in the middle of the Gulf and it's generally drifting to the west. Now, as it drifts to the west, it's going to run into big shear, okay? Wind shear is basically winds that flow in opposite directions and sort of oppose each other. So you can imagine a storm going this way and then getting a strong cross current going the other direction. So right about here, it falls apart and then drifts to the south. That's pretty much what we're looking for to happen sometime over the weekend. So for tomorrow, Port Lavaca is looking pretty good. This is early morning showers. That's not the bigger, well, I shouldn't say bigger stuff. The stuff that's coming in with the front late tomorrow night, getting up to about 83. A little on the warm side in Cuero, 87. Okay, but the shower activity will be late in the evening, probably after midnight. So no major problems for thus. Saturday's looking a little bit quieter, and then it's not until next Thursday that we get a front that actually drops us into the 70s. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Don.
Mac, thank you. Max Williams is here with your sports. Hey, it's Thursday night, which means
Athlete of the Week. Queued it up perfectly there, Don. And last week, gave it up there to Kylie Spree-Kolash there from UHB Women's Soccer. But who will it be tonight? I'll tell you here in a little bit in sports. All right, everyone, we made it to Thursday night, like Don mentioned there before we got out for a break, which means, guess what? Athlete of the Week. And last week, we gave it to UHV women's soccer player Kylie Spree-Kolash, which we talked about her team later here in the sports block. But this week, we're heading back to the football field with linebacker Colton Judd from Calhoun. He had a career day versus El Campo last week. Here's sports reporter Ray Robinson with our Athlete of the Week.
For your Athlete of the Week, we're taking you to Port Lavaca, where our previous game of the week took place as the Calhoun Sandcrabs hosted the El Campo Ricebirds. We're also highlighting the other side of the ball, and this athlete is a defensive stud. Calhoun senior Colton Judd made his defensive presence felt in that game, leading the team in tackles with 17 and 2 sacks.
Going into the game, we knew they were a really good team. We knew they were fast. Our whole team did really good. Offense did good. Our whole defense played their butts off. They were in the right place at the right time every time. So I'm able to lead my defense a lot better than last year.
Colton's leadership is one that defensive coordinator Alan Salina admires, along with Judd's skill on the field.
It's like having an extra coach out on the field is what it is. And, he leads the rest of the guys out there. Told the guys that it was all about how we were going to respond to certain plays and losing some battles out there, and they definitely responded the right way every time. So unbelievable out there.
Let's wish Colton and the Sandcrabs good luck in their district championship game taking on the Bay City Black Cats. Ray Robinson, KAVU TV 25 News Now, Sports.
All right, thanks, Ray. And again, like Ray mentioned there just a minute ago, the Sandcrabs will compete for the district title tomorrow night versus Bay City. That will start at 7:30 p.m. But we got some action here tonight, everyone. The Victoria East Titans, they play their final game here of the season at home versus Smithson Valley Rangers, and it'll be about here 30 minutes time. And sports reporter Zach Brown is live there at Memorial Stadium. And Zach, this one's going to be a good one to watch. The Titans, how are they looking here going into this game here tonight?
Yeah, Max, so that's the final game of the year here for the East Titans, who are just trying to finish the year strong. Now, whether or not they win this game, they cannot qualify for a playoff spot. They had 2 tough losses to begin district play that just really did them in. Each of those a one-score game that went down to the wire. They're maybe just a few plays away from being able to prepare for next week's postseason. Instead, their senior class gets ready to say goodbye. It is senior night. This class, part of last year's program that had their first playoff win since 2016. Tonight, they get maybe their toughest matchup of the year in Smithson Valley, who lost in the state championship game just a year ago. Not an easy way to end the year if you're East, but they want to continue to lay that foundation so that head coach John Ford can hit the ground running in year number 2. And as I said, it is senior night. A lot of the parents are already here. They've got flowers. The kids are ready. It is an exciting night. Your last football game is always an exciting memory you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. Kickoff for this one just 30 minutes away. Reporting live from Memorial Stadium, Zach Brown, KAVU TV 25 News Now Sports.
All right, Zach, thank you there. And again, that one should be an exciting one to watch. We'll give you full highlights there later on there in 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. But also here tonight, UHV Baseball is holding Game 1 of their Fall World Series tonight at Riverside. Game 1 is already going on right now. Again, the admission there for the game, free of charge there. So if you want to attend there, they got Game 2 tomorrow at 6:30. Game 3 will be there on Saturday at 5 o'clock. And then they'll have Game 4 next Tuesday at 6. Game 5 will be Thursday at 6 o'clock. And then Game 6 and 7 will be next Friday starting at 4:30. Game 7 will be afterwards. So go out and support the UHV baseball team. Again, this again just the Fall World Series, so we don't got any baseball going on. You'll see past alumni playing, other current players playing as well here in that contest. And again, speaking of baseball though, again, the baseball team for UHV is receiving votes there in the early NAIA preseason poll. Also, the softball team as well, congrats to them. They're also receiving votes in the early NAIA preseason poll as well. But again, a little tough news though for UHV women's soccer. They lost their game today in the quarterfinals versus Xavier University 4-1. But what a great season though still for UHV women's soccer. And that's going to do it here for sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, Max, and we're back in a moment. Just one vote. That was the difference to decide the next mayor of a Louisiana village.
The operating room to the classroom. A former area surgeon is making an impact in a whole new way. Find out how this award-winning teacher at Ganado High School traded scrubs for science.
If I can spread my knowledge and skills as much as I can to all those young people in medical, any type of science, math, I'd be happy.
And why the community can't stop singing his praises. Join anchor Shauna Curry for From Scalpel to Science, a 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
Tonight in a small Louisiana village, it took only one vote to determine a key race, the town's future mayor. When a village has an eligible voter population of about 350, every single vote matters, like it did for the mayor-elect Virginia Gray and the incumbent mayor Sheila Martin. Look at that. Gray won 118 to 117, and there won't be a runoff. Gray's daughter lost by one vote for the mayor's seat in 2019. Mayor Martin can either request a recount of mail-in ballots or contest the election altogether. Oh my, to work that hard and campaign that hard.
Coming down to that.
One vote.
Yeah.
That's why we play the game.
Yes. The game of politics.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a contact sport.
Well, I mean, it is a sport in a way because you're running.
Really? Well, that's true.
Yeah.
We're spectating.
There you go. That's right.
And we're cheering. All right, folks, we're looking at a few little showers on Friday, but not to worry. Most of the activity will be after midnight. I think football Friday night will be good. Then a little cooler as we get to the weekend. Of course, we're watching what will be the remnants of Rafael in the Gulf of Mexico over the weekend.
All right. Thank you, Mac. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.